the sound of a better life with the Stillness Revolution, this time with Nikolaj, Flor, Rotne. And we're going to talk about leadership in this new time, in this new paradigm. So what would you say that are necessary now for leaders that were not in the past?
Well, first of all, I think that, and thank you, that the classical competences and skills in leadership are still in stake. Like you need to be good at motivating, you be good at relating, communicating, setting the course, and negotiations and stuff like that.
So all that hasn't changed?
No. But we are living in times that are accelerating, things are going faster and we are facing immense problems that we have to deal with. And the possibility in these kinds of times is that we have to be informed from something greater than our intellect. I would say that would be one of the main things that the new alpha, the new leader needs to learn. You cannot only trying to calculate and make a strategy and do it that way, the old way.
So you have to be more in tune, more in line?
Yes, and I think there's two ways, and both ways are necessary to go as in your personal leadership. And the first way is that you have to find your soul in the world. Now, the soul is like a bigger term for personality. It's bigger than that. It's something deeper in you. And the soul has a cause, wants you to contribute with your gifts in the world. And the soul is something that we can find in the imaginary realm. So it's something beyond our intellect. I'm not saying that we should not use our intellect. That's very necessary to be good at analyzing. But we also have to be comfortable with going into the unknown and finding our intuition. And that kind of knowledge and way of finding our way. And that is something that a lot of leaders are working with. Some don't call it that. Maybe they call it following their stomach, when some others call it following their heart. But we need to be more comfortable with those kinds of skills.
And so how do you develop the skills of the soul, if you could say that?
Yes.
How do you develop that in a busy everyday life?
Yes.
Workspace?
Well, for some leaders it takes some courage to letting go of the control, to gain a deeper kind of control, because you cannot only say have to be this way and I only can be working within this kind of frame. We have to be on the edge of what we know all the time and being able to letting go of the idea that I know everything.
What are you capable of as a leader?
Yeah, you are informed from a much bigger place. I mean, not only from the soul's perspective, which I think is where you find your unique contribution. Like you have a soul that have a certain contribution, some certain skills, and it's very important that you and I help each other finding those skills so you can bring them to the table, bring your gifts to the table to the benefit of all. But there's also another perspective that we can call maybe the spirit. And the spirit is something that is not individual. The spirit is a place when you are in contact with the great song, which I like to call it. The great song is a place where there is no duality. It's a place where the sense of lack that we can have in life, not being good enough, not creating good enough results, not having time enough, it's a big issue for many people and especially leaders. Now that vanishes when you are in the great song. And when you are there, you are in a much richer and more fulfilled place, and it's much easier for you to take new information in and innovate and finding the solutions that you need as a leader. You're always trying to coming up with new solutions. You're always being having to make decisions and finding your way forward. Whether it's a service you offer or a product or whatever. And coming from that place is much more. It's more fulfilling place as a leader, but you also create better results because you see bigger pictures. Yeah. So you're not only working for your own benefit, you're working for the whole. So we have two things in play here. Both your individual soul, that you're always trying to find your best way to offer your gifts, and we can call that your voice. Right, and then we have the great song. The great song. Yeah, which is not an individual place.
It's a spirit.
Yeah, and coming from that place, we some of these new skills that we know from the parapsychology, like intuition and precognition and synchronicity, and those kinds of skills, they come. You get in touch with that. It's much easier to being. Comfortable with trusting your intuition, and the map. Yeah. You're getting to know the map of intuition and those kind of skills.
Right, so finding your voice in the great song actually provides you with superpowers.
Yes.
Super skills. Yeah.
Very well put.
So that you are even better at your job.
Yes. Yes.
And so why not?
Yeah.
Why not do that when you have those resources?
Yeah.
So what does it require? Let me just ask that last question from you. What does it require to go find those skills as a leader if you're not accustomed to this spiritual realm that you're talking about?
Well, first of all, I think that science is helping us here, because there is science that shows that this is not just something weird, and we can look to scientists like Dean Radin and others that have been studying this for decades. And I think that helps leaders gain the trust that this is actually real and it's possible.
That's the first step.
Yes.
Having faith in it.
Yeah. And then it takes practice like everything else. And meditative practices where you train yourself to become still, so you can actually hear, so you can actually see. So what sense and see and think more clear, because what at first might feel like the unseen suddenly become visible when you become still. So you see things and you recognize patterns yet that you couldn't do before. And that's very valuable also for leaders.
Obviously.
Yeah. So first, trust that this is actually possible. Yeah. And then takes practice. Yeah.
And we know that now, so that's why it's a new time. And you have this philosophy that you have to develop this.
Yes.
There's no other way.
Yeah. It's true.
All right.